Good morning, everybody. This is Yin Yang with Morsels of a Thought, number 1279. Sorry I'm late. Yeah. No excuse, really. I kind of got caught up in doing the kitty litter properly, Don't blame them. They have to. So I am here. So are these guys. A little bit of kitty cat. Wicked Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, July 3rd. And tomorrow is Independence Day. Oh, goodness gracious. Here you are. Hi, Liz. Good morning. Liz Roscantara. I want to say something to all the people that come on afterward to Nancy Saunders, Mandy Alexi, uh, Alexi. That's what it is. I remember now. And John Clark. Ha, ha. Yeah. All right. See, chapter 9. And I lost my bookmark. Where's my bookmark? Are you sitting on the bookmark? Excuse me, dear. Okay, I found it. Okay, this is by Jackie Ryan. Jackie Ryan looks like this. I can't put it too okay, I think I can put it pretty close to you. So you can see her portrait. And she is her best-selling book, Caregivers, Scaretakers, Exposing let's start this over. Jackie Ryan's best-selling book, Caregivers, Scaretakers, Exposing Fraud in Senior Care, is making waves. This riveting memoir blows the lid off the senior care system. With an aging population, families are struggling with dependable, trusted care. This process is riddled with problems. What can we do to protect our parents from abuse and financial theft from unscrupulous caregivers? Jacqueline Ryan is a professional just like you. When a crisis happened, she instantly faced that heart-wrenching time in life when her parents were no longer able to care for themselves. Reaching out for help and trusting home care agencies, she soon discovered that appearances can be deceiving. In the trenches of caregiver nightmares, Jacqueline has learned the pitfalls and landmines of inappropriate and unscrupulous caretakers. With powerful personal stories and extensive research on this undeniable problem, Jacqueline is armed with life-changing information that can revise the process for those looking for appropriate and trustworthy care for their loved ones. Jacqueline is a senior care advocate, consultant, and speaker. Jacqueline is a USA Today and Wall Street Journal best-selling author featured in the anthology book Success Mindsets: How Top Entrepreneurs Succeed in Business and Life, published by Leaders Press. My glasses got fogged up. Topics: hiring a caregiver. What you need to know before you make that decision. This is capitalized. Tools for checking out agencies and caregivers, finding reviews, and learning how to research references. Don't wait for a crisis to happen. Prepare your own care ahead of time. We plan for many life events, but neglect to make a plan for how or where we're going to live when we can no longer live on our own. Make your plan and put it in writing. Raising the bar on caregivers will raise the bar on the quality of care. She capitalizes the whole sentence. Connect with Jackie at JACCI at https://caregiverscaretakers.com. So caregivers, is all one word there. Now her chapter is chapter 9, Relationships, Manipulations, and Questions. Jacqueline Ryan, Jacklyn Ryan. Intuition, instinct, gut feeling, Something's off. If only we allow this more often and act on it more quickly, where would you be? I'll tell you where I'd be. A lot happier, a lot earlier in my life, and as strong in my 50s as I am becoming in my 60s. We all, we have all had to go through a myriad of assorted affairs and relationships to figure out the right mate. You always think, well, maybe this one will be it. And so you try and work on the relationship for him to fit your needs. You readily want to fit his needs because he might be the one. She capitalizes it. Reflecting, I wasted a lot of time on men who just couldn't cut it with me. Is that harsh? No, it's a fact. It takes two to tango unless you want to line dance. Make a list of what's really important to you and what you need and what you want in in a life partner. In the first 8 weeks of your new relationships, ask the questions and check the boxes. Well, the rules would say you do that on your own. You don't ask him that way, okay? But that's just the rules, are separate. Okay, back to Ryan. I was riding four-legged horses until high school. Then I switched to chasing the two-legged ones. Two-legged asses. Ooh. I smartened up later and returned to the four-legged horses. I gave up my new bow. I gave my new bow a halter, the horse's headgear, to put on my horse and lead him up to the barn. The halter was put on upside down, and the underside strap was running down the horse's nose. I could never imagine how to put that on upside down. Well, he didn't know. Okay, but that was the beginning of a trying relationship for 9 months. But, 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 I met him at church. He began riding horses with me because I liked to, not because he liked to. He eventually became passive aggressive and needed more from me than I could give. I am very self-reliant and not a needy person, so I ended the relationship, which would have been earlier than later, which should have been earlier than later. I told him he was a good guy, but I just couldn't shoulder his insecurities. He was a red flag guy. Next, I enjoyed skydiving once in a while. After returning to Northwest Arkansas out of the big cities, I tried Match.com for 2 weeks. That was crazy. My profile on Match.com read, I like to scuba dive, skydive, and horseback ride. One guy I met owned a skydiving business, and he was the pilot. I jumped out of his plane a few times, and we enjoyed some good moments. However, a few months into dating, when I invited him to ride horses, he was a little hesitant and said horses don't like him. I got him on my trusted smaller red horse, Wind. While I was getting ready to get on my other larger horse, Wind ran away with him. You remember the song by Michael Martin Murphey, Ride Like the Wind? He finally got him stopped, got off, walked him back, and said, I told you horses don't like me. Yeah, we broke up after that. I'm willing to jump out of airplanes, but he wouldn't ride my horse. I relay these stories because we go through life trying to find the right partner. My husband of 12 years now is ideal still. We attended a charity event our first date. I wore my short black dress, you know the one, and had my hair done up. We had a grand time. I like her how she kind of refers to the rules. I bet she's read it. Many people didn't know he was divorced, and some knew me and couldn't believe we were together. He owned a clothing store in town, so definitely a city guy. Oh, what? Oh yeah. Well, the next day I called and asked him to come out for a horse ride. I had my large black horse saddled up for him when he arrived. Ladies, at my age, I've got to qualify them fast. My paper roll of life was getting shorter past 45. Well, he enjoyed it. A week later, I took him for another ride. He enjoyed it. Actually, weeks later, he confided in me that he thought he was going to die, but didn't say a word. Point is, this man had. Point is, this man had not ridden horses before. It became something he truly enjoyed, and not just because of me. We married 10 months later. He had to ask me 3 times. I wanted to make sure he knew what he was asking. He still feeds the horses each morning. So, relaying these brief relationship stories, I hope you will examine your relationship and use your intuition on how to navigate to the right mate, or just be happy and content with your awesome self. Yeah. I I lost my. Oh, now let's dive deeper into the abyss of intuition that led me down a sordid road. I purposely uprooted my life and sold my house in Dallas, Texas in 2003 to be closer to my aging parents. My stepmother passed in 2004, leaving my dad widowed. My mom had remained single after the divorce in 1971. I was with dad and helped him when he had a quadruple bypass surgery in 2006. I helped him. I helped on the farm any way I could. He had a hired man, so at times there wasn't much I needed to do. He never got into a habit of calling me when he needed something. I always told him that I was just a phone call away. He became busy dating and traveling while working on the farm. I proceeded to work at real estate and figuring my way from leaving my home in Northwest Arkansas, lived in Dallas, Texas, Miami, Florida, returned to Dallas, then returned to back the country, literally returned to back the country, capitalized, literally. In 2014, Dad fell and broke his hip. I could see his house from where I live. His close friend called me, so I rushed down and called 911. After his surgery, I was referred to a home care agency. They had a very nice woman who cared for him. A few months later, he fell and broke his other hip. My two brothers and I saw the need to increase his care to full time. It was very difficult to find a caregiver through the agency, but finally, after 6 weeks, Claire showed up. And that is the point. 1, she showed up. 2, on time. 3, had a bright smile. And 4, was communicative and engaging. Dad liked her and we liked her. After a few weeks, I felt like I found a new best friend. However, a few months later, I found a tire receipt for $900. It was for her car. I alerted my family and we had a talk with Dad and Claire. It was just a loan. I was going to pay it back, Claire said with tears streaming down her face. Dad was apologetic that they got caught. Thereafter, reflecting, Dad and Claire became more secretive. We should have notified the agency and had her fired, but it was so difficult to find good, reliable help. After 2 years passed, Dad seemed a little distant to me. I eventually developed a suspicion, but not soon enough. I placed a recording device in his house. The first recording I heard between Dad and Claire. "How's Jackie?" "She's a bitch," replied Claire. "Oh," Dad replied. "I need ink for my printer." "I'll get you some," Dad replied. That shook me. What? I thought we were on good terms. Little did I know she was working her way into his life and turning Dad against me. I did more recordings for a while, but I had to quit because it was almost making me sick. I would work during the day, find a way to leave, and pick up the recording device listen for a few hours, and try to decipher the conversations amongst the old westerns on TV. Another statement that rocked me to my core was when Claire said, "Nobody but me will take care." Wow. "Nobody but me will care for you like I do." There were many other statements. That's just a couple. You may be wondering, why didn't she just confront Claire? And that's what it should have been, a confrontation. Who would win? She would. She had Dad wrapped around her finger. You can't argue with sex. As much as I didn't want to envision it, that was a strong possibility. What I was learning through the recordings and from others created within me a sense of what I was learning through the recordings and from others created within me a sense of burden about who is more guilty. Is it those who cause harm, or is it people like me who know and do not relay the information or do something about it? Now, I have done quotes where actually that is the most evil, but we'll come back to the book. I eventually let my brothers know about the recordings. One advised me to stop, and the other told Claire. So then Claire knew I was onto her. Big mistake. Don't ever let someone know you are onto them. It's a long story involving 7 years of an unscrupulous, unethical, immoral caregiver who threw two of the fellow caregivers under the bus. How does one build themselves up by putting others down? She even let me know she had been in jail years earlier for meth. I let the agency know. Oh, of course they knew. Well, Dad liked her. Her employment continued until he died. The agency, in the 7 years of caring for Dad, averaged 220,000 per year from Dad alone. That's a lot of money, 1.4 million. They put their businesses in front of what was best for Dad. There's an old saying that time is money, but when it comes to your integrity, time is actually more valuable than money. That's because you can always make more money, but once your integrity is gone, it's gone for good. So if you're ever tempted to put money above your integrity, just remember that in the long run, it's not worth it. You may be able to buy all the things you want in the short term, but without integrity, you'll never truly be happy. And what's the point of having a lot of money if you're not happy? So always keep your integrity intact. It's the most valuable thing you have. People knew what was going on, but it was easier to turn a blind eye than to deal with it. Isn't that the way it goes nowadays? Now, I'm going to delve into a broader spectrum. It's interesting to think about how people interacted with each other 20 years ago. It seems there was a lot more respect and understanding between people. Perhaps this is due to the fact that there weren't as many differing opinions. We would pick up the phone and talk. Now, now we use the phone for everything except talking. Today, does it seem to you that the world is more black or white, right or wrong, good or evil, yes or no? It doesn't really matter whether one accepts this or not. Reality is not contingent on the popularity of belief. A memorable moment for me was having dinner with a couple when the conversation branched into talking about the COVID vaccine. The man shook his head and said, I just can't believe why someone would not get the vaccine. I remained silent while my husband piped up and said, It's getting late. We should go. I found this moment quite humorous because it seemed like the man was more concerned about why people weren't getting the vaccine than he was about the actual virus. I was recently involved in a real estate deal that required a Zoom call with two other parties. Why does she have a star on it? Um, I was caught off guard where during the call, both parties began gleefully telling each other how happy they were to have received the jab. It was immediately clear that any questioning of the vaccine's efficacy would have been met with severe social disapproval. This made me realize just how prevalent social mind control has become. I've known people who have been sick after getting the one shot or have gotten COVID a few times since receiving this shot. So I can understand why some people might be hesitant to get vaccinated. When people are afraid to express doubts or ask questions, it's a sign that groupthink is taking over. Groupthink, one word. And that's never a good thing. I propose we ask difficult questions. Yes, let's cross the line. So she's got a checklist to like bang, 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 bang. You know, these arrows, bang, 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 bang. Okay. Um, while when I propose we ask difficult questions. Yes, let's cross the line. Let's entertain doubt and uncertainty under your own initiative. Check your intuitiveness. When reading these questions, come from a place of curiosity and listen to your intuition rather than mainstream media or what others say is true. What does your gut say? That's what she has to say. Okay, bang. Are you sure medics have a sufficient understanding of health to advise you on novel diseases? Bang. Are you sure the mass media is principally journalism and not propaganda? Watch the movie, read the book, 1984 by George Orwell. Bang. Are you sure the taxes you pay are wisely spent? Bang. Are you sure Joe Biden is the real and duly elected president with authority? Bang. Are you sure Donald Trump is the racist womanizer the media depicted him to be? Bang. Are you sure Barack Obama is the noble statesman the media promoted him as being? Bang. Are you sure Hillary Clinton is a genuine philanthropic fighter for women and the oppressed? Bang. Are you sure JFK was murdered by one lone gunman? Bang. Ooh, she's got a lot of more and more. Ah, ooh, ah. Um, Bang. Are you sure Jeffrey Epstein was only a child predator or was he more? Bang. Are you sure you know how common it is for the famous or powerful to be blackmailed? Bang. Are you sure you know why the media is uninterested in Ghislaine Maxwell? Are you sure you know why the media is uninterested in Ghislaine Maxwell's client list? Ghislaine. Bang. Are you sure our government works for us, the people who elected it, and not a foreign power? Bang. Are you sure you understand how the American Constitution could be subverted? Bang. Are you sure you would recognize a war of infiltration by foreign powers if one occurred? Bang. Are you sure our government agencies operate in our best interests? Bang. Are you sure there is an innate limit to the scale and scope of criminal enterprise? Bang. Are you sure there isn't a covert subtext or hidden agenda to most Hollywood movies? Bang. Are you sure tech companies like Google and Facebook are legitimate commercial operations? Bang. Are you sure your data is being handled lawfully and not divulged to criminals or governments? Bang. Are you sure you understand the role of secret societies and their true level of influence? And are you sure you have the understanding to spot use of unethical media mind control? And are you sure our history is accurately depicted to museums in museums and as taught in school? And are you sure what is being taught in schools is fact and not opinions? And are you sure the rise of transgenderism and pedophilia is organic and unconcerning? And are you sure that the Bible is just a collection of myths unrelated to modern society? And are you sure Neil Armstrong walked on the moon? And are you sure the infrastructure you see above ground is where the action is? And are you sure politeness and celebrity what? Are you sure politicians and celebrities are not professionally masked? Google Jonah Mendez. Joanna Mendez. Jonna Mendez. What? Jonna Mendez. Jonna Mendez. Bang. Are you sure Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, and many others are any more special than all the others who have been murdered? Bang. Are you sure you would know if a cult took over society and cult membership was, quote, normal, end quote? Bang. Are you sure the powerful would teach you the thinking looks needed to spot their power? Bang. Are you sure it's safe to form an opinion away from media without checking sources yourself? Bang. Are you sure the government told the whole truth about September 11th, 2001? How does glass and metal fall into a heap of rubble and other buildings collapse later. Bang. Are you sure you have grasped the extent and significance of human trafficking in society? Then are you sure that a new genocide would appear in an instantly recognizable form? And are you sure you understand the power of the Vatican, City of London, and Washington, D.C. as forms of microstate with global reach? Then are you sure that any science or technology that conferred great power would automatically be used for the benefit of humanity rather than hoarded or subverted? Bang. Are you sure that you have set boundaries about what evil is capable of and your own vulnerability to deception? Bang. Are you sure you know, four more. Are you sure you know who, oh, I lied, five more. Are you sure you know what or who others worship and how have you aligned yourself to their deities? Bang. Are you sure what the media calls QAnon exists as described without having looked yourself? Bang. Are you sure you know the extent to which your institutions are fraudulent or hijacked? Bang. Are you sure all conspiracy theorists are crazy? Bang. Are you sure? Really? Check your intuition. Wow. How many pages was that? 3, 5, 7, 9, 10. 10 pages, 12 pages. That was interesting. Wow. That was from Wickedly Smart Women. Trusting Intuition, Taking Actions, Transforming Worlds, an anthology by Angel B. Hartwell. So, Wickedly Smart Women. All right. All right. I will talk to you again later. That was long. 27 minutes. Okay. Old Kinderhook. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye.